All right, so this goes overlooked all the time. And I think it's because once you know it, then you can't unknow it. But before you know it, you will constantly keep overlooking it. And one of the simple ones is an experience, right? I feel like experience is key. People love to experience things. And it's like an experience is kind of what people are here to do. When you think about the reason why we're here on planet Earth, we say stuff like, yeah, we want to make enough money to buy some great life experiences, like let's just say your first car, your first apartment, your first partner in life, um, your birthday, and etc. These are all experiences, like the idea of coming of age. So if you think about that, if we're naturally programmed to, um, if we're naturally programmed to desire experiences, want experiences, then we need to start being the architects of experiences. And what I mean by that is like if people are coming to us not for our logo, they're not coming to us saying, "Man, that's such a hard logo." And I get it. I really get it because it's like sometimes when your logo does look good, you know what I mean? People do pull up. People do like, some people get it tatted, whatever. But I'm being honest though, I'm being very, very real. It's not the logo. They're tatting an experience, right? They're tattooing an experience. They're aligning to an experience. They're seeing this logo and they're feeling the experience within themselves. That's like what the logo of Gucci does. Like if I was to just put Gucci X Icon Living Podcast, immediately there's an experience that you've already made up in your mind from your past experience about Gucci. You will actually pull up to my event, right? And that's the power of experience. And brands who spend time cultivating an experience, they do better. They do well in the marketplace. And that's one thing that we like to lock in here at Content Sage with our clients is to understand what experience do you want to give your user, your consumer, your audience. And it's not something simple because it's like we need to understand, you know, what it takes to cultivate an experience. So I have them list the top 5 brands that they like. They might say stuff like Starbucks, they might say stuff like PF Chang's and, they might mention different restaurants or, an experience like a hotel, like the Four Seasons or something. And it's like, okay, all right. Like I'm like, okay, you like all these places. And then I'm like, well, tell me about your experience there. And their experiences is always hitting. They're like, oh, when I was in Starbucks, I get this mocha latte, blah, blah, blah. Right? And you can just see them light up. And guess what Starbucks is doing? They're shaking their head like, yep, we delivered another incredible experience. And even when they mess up, they make up for it because it's like they know just how important experience is when it comes to branding and branding. And with personal branding, it's even more serious because it's like you don't have a corporate wall to hide behind, right? There's not you don't have the boards of trustees and it's you. It's your personal brand. It's you. It's like, hey, I spoke to Jessica Brown, and I bought something from Jessica Brown's brand, and this was my experience. Like literally, it's directly to you. Of course, you have some statutes of limitations and LLCs to protect you against being sued and all of that stuff. Yes, but in the idea, people are buying directly from you when it comes to personal brands. When it comes to brands, like consumer brands, like corporate brands, yeah, the CEO can hide behind that corporate banner, which obviously we're all seeing that a lot of these CEOs, if they're not coming in front of the camera lately, they're hiring somebody to be that face of the brand, be that influencer of the brand. All companies are doing it now because social media, relatability, talking to the camera, communicating behind the scenes, showing the journey, giving people more insight. This is it. Since the rise of Snapchat, I feel like Snapchat was the one that actually started it all, right? Because if you look back, Instagram was kind of just showing pictures. like, hey, here's my dog. Here's this nice building I like. I felt like Instagram at first was helping people just be photographers. Yeah, right. Everyone felt like a photographer on Instagram. And then IG turned into memes, and everyone's like a meme curator or they're stacking memes. And then it just kept evolving into video and etc. But the one that really brought us into the lives of other humans, especially like celebrities, stuff like that, was Snapchat. Snapchat gave us the behind the scenes. It gave us that feel like we're actually with this person of prominence. And of course, Instagram seen just how powerful that is, and they created Instagram Reels, right? And Instagram Stories. And Instagram Stories was like an adaptation of the Snapchat Stories, which made people stay on Instagram because of the algorithm, etc. Which Snapchat did go through a dip. It did go through a dip. Me being in West Africa right now, I could still see how popular it is. Some people have like 40,000, 50,000, 100,000 people viewing their Snap right now. Like whenever I walk around, I'm still saying, "Oh, what's your IG?" They're like, "Oh no, what's your Snap? What's your Snap?" And I'm looking at them like, "What's my Snap?" But the idea is that it could seem like they're dated, I'm dated. I'm just like, you know what? Let me just stick to my powers and my superpowers right now. YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. These are my superpowers. I might tap into TikTok eventually, but right now, these are my superpowers. And I'm at the point where let's just get back to the point at hand, right? Snapchat is what brought us into people's lives, and that's what people want to see. They want to be invited into your life. They want to see what you're actually doing. So now that we know that, it's like, okay. And then when you think about it, I'm sure you probably have had a Snapchat, or I'm sure you do have Instagram right now, and there's somebody that you check their stories. You check their stories because there's this feeling and experience that you feel like you're going to receive from them. And some people do very good at curating this experience. They know, like, okay, people like to experience this from me. So I need to curate it every day. That's how I get my viewers, my likes, my comments. And eventually they want to purchase things that you're selling. Right. So it's like you being able to create an experience, an overall experience. And I look at it like a roller coaster. Like when a roller coaster is good, you don't just get off and say, let's go to another one. Nah, you like, I'm standing back in line. I don't even care if it takes 2 hours. That was so good. I'm standing back in line. And that's because you had a great experience. And to me, I feel like that's how I make all my clients' content feel, their presence online feel. Like the person who's experiencing them just went on this incredible roller coaster. And, it's just one of those things where they want to keep riding. And the roller coaster comes from different types of fields. A lot of people come to different people for different fields, different experiences, right? You can't go to Starbucks expecting a Four Seasons experience. It's just not going to happen. You don't go to Starbucks, you don't go to Four Seasons expecting uh Starbucks experience, right? So you don't go to Dubai expecting to be treated like you're in West Africa. It just doesn't happen. And I think that's some of the ignorance that us Americans bring to Africa is like we come to Africa thinking we're gonna get the American experience. It is and it's like, no, you're not. You're not going to receive that experience here. You're going to receive the African experience. It might be shifted a little bit towards you because you're not authentically from the soil like that, but you're going to experience the African experience. It's just what's going to happen. So, to me, I feel like that was always something iconic to just be aware of is like experience. And I'm going deeper in experience because I feel like a lot of people get that wrong about branding. They overemphasize on the logos, the colors, the fonts, and they forget about the emotional side of everything. It's like, what is going to last besides this logo, the colors, and the fonts? Because these things can shift. There's some form of emotional resonance. And then it's like, I think the core of a memorable personal brand it's not just about appearance, it's about the experience people receive when they interact with your content. I think that's key. I feel like people can experience your content and they just get this experience that keeps them coming back, right? And when you think about luxury brands like Apple, Chanel, Tesla, their customer experiences, it just goes beyond what they're actually selling. If you was to buy a Tesla right now and the way that the customer service would talk to you, and they're just there for you. They're making you feel amazing and awesome for patronizing, right? And to me, I feel like that's what's super powerful right now. A couple questions you want to ask yourself in the journey. It's how do you want people to feel after engaging with your content or products? Some people want to feel empowered. Some people want to feel happy. Some people want to feel touched, moved, inspired, motivated. Some people want to feel like they're just distracting themselves. There's all types of feelings people want to feel. And I feel like we need to put some intentionality when it comes into shaping those feelings. Like, how can we shape these feelings into our content? How can we shape these feelings into um our whole presence online? Right. And to me, that's like what's going on. So what I tend to do is to do like a, a experience audit, right? I sit down and I look at your messaging, your tone, the visuals, and I just ask myself, like, what experience am I trying to convey? And then I focus more on the storytelling, like because the storytelling is what actually gives more of a lasting impression. This rising, I was with my trainer working out, and he has this clothing brand, but he doesn't know how to sell it. He doesn't even know how to tell stories with it. You can come through. Doesn't know how to tell stories. So I'm showing him how to tell stories with his personal brand. And even the story I told him this morning, it's still more memorable than than what he was saying, right? Like he has like this item, this clothing item, and I was showing him how this clothing item can help him grow. I looked at what he's talking about, and I told a story because he's selling like this jumpsuit. And immediately I was like, oh wow, this jumpsuit looks like something that fathers will wear, something that I feel like fathers will purchase. And it's not just any father, it's a father who is hardworking, dedicated, loyal to his family. He goes out there day in, day out, and he brings home the bacon to say, right? So to say. So it's like, you know, I was creating an idea like, oh wow, this jumper should be for fathers. I feel like you should angle it towards fathers and tell the story about how your father, how you created this in inspiration to your father and to all fathers out there, so they can recommend, so they can be, remembered and make them feel. And I was like, look, instantly, people are gonna buy that, and all he has to do is just tell a story about his childhood, like him growing up and like, especially in Nigeria, he just grew up and he always saw his father like leave out, and, he may not get that affection. So like this is his way of giving that affection back to his father is by creating a piece that represents him. And like even though his father wasn't able to be there for him like that, he can be there for his father like that. And to me, that's a powerful story, I just made that up, but that's the power of storytelling, right? You're able to just tell a story and it leaves like a lasting impression, all right? And, I think that's something that's super important to like really dial in is just the experience. And to me, the experience talks to how you make people feel, right? Like just remember, people may not remember your name. They may not remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. And that's why I feel like experiences is important to nurture in your brand. It's important to nurture in your personal brand because it's like you're taking time to curate how someone will experience you in any facet online. If it's your newsletter, if it's your social media pages, through your videos, your photos, if it's your, YouTube, LinkedIn, your website, your sales page, however you show up online, we're responsible for how it makes them feel. And I believe that emotional connection drives repeat engagement and recommendations, especially in content stage right now, how I make my clients feel. They tell other clients, and then those clients tell other clients. And it just continues like this roller coaster of like, I'm making them feel this way because I'm spending time curating the experience, right? And I learned this a long time ago because when I was coming up, um, I'm studying, and I remember when one of my mentors told me that he said, "Oh yeah, he creates a whole experience for whoever signs up for his thing, like, because much rather them, he much even if they leave, yeah, so he much rather have them feeling great, right, than anything else." And when he told me that, I realized that, oh, I have to start curating experiences. It's not just, oh, I shot your pictures or I shot your video. Here's your video. It's like not just here's your videos, here's your content. It's coming down to what's the experience, right? And I mean, I feel like I'm about 60 to 70% uh almost dialed in on my experience. Of course, I need more team power to like really deliver the experience I would love to deliver. But currently, right now, my experience when it comes to content, I make sure that my clients get it. They receive this streamlined, and when it's streamlined, they also get recommendations on how to upload it. And I send them flowers. That's just something that I do, right? I do that from my heart, but I know it makes them feel good, right? It just even if they're mad at me, they're gonna be like, "Well, you know what? Content Stage King Obi, they sent me some flowers." Right. And it's like, I know I want to start curating more experiences for my clients because I truly believe in their feelings. I truly believe in harnessing good energy for them because I seen that through my own eyes. The better you feel about anything, the better the results, and when it comes to results and driving results, a lot of it is based upon feelings and emotions. Right? If someone feels stuck or they feel like they can't do something, they're not moving forward. If someone feels unleashed and they can do it all, they're going to crush it, regardless if they are competent or not. They have a better chance of succeeding than someone who's competent but doesn't feel good. Right. So I focus on the feelings, not only in the content that I'm creating and how I'm communicating through the content, but I focus on the feelings and the experience overall as a brand, right? So overall as a brand, I feel like as a personal brand, I feel like my experience that I'm giving my clients or that they feel from me is that experience of somebody who is royal. I position myself as a royal person. So then I treat them as royalty, right? Like even having the name King Obi, it does give that essence like, oh yeah, a King Obi. So it's like, all right, cool. How can I treat my clients with more royalty, more energy? Not only to keep them around, but to also get more recommendations. And that's just what I do. Like when you just do good things just come back to you. And that's why I like this brand called Polished in Ghana. They they just do high level stuff just because they're not doing it for like trying to you know, they're not doing it on purpose. That's just what they do. Their brand ethos is just high-end, top quality, polished stuff. So that's just what they do. That's some of their brand standards and that's their brand experience. So that's their brand experience. So as I wind down this idea, I just wanted to say stop building your brand like this. And I wanted you to know what actually works, right? I really wanted you to know. I know you love your colors. You want to focus on the logo, get your typography right. You think it's about posting mad content, yeah, but that's cool. But the real deal is literally the experience people feel from you and how you make them feel from connecting with you. That emotional connection would drive repeat engagement and recommendations. And it's important to understand that your personal brand is more than visuals, it's an experience. Start thinking about how you can make people feel and use that as a guide to all your strategy and anything that you're looking to create. You can make your personal brand unforgettable by creating an experience people can't stop talking about. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, people talk about and share things that they had a good experience on. And it's also the truth for the opposite. So if you if they had a bad experience, they gonna tell. And sometimes you can't stop at all. That's so I'm not saying like, hey, don't ever make a mistake, don't ever have a bad experience. No, 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 no. What I'm saying is you may have some bad experiences, right? But you want to overall, and even if you have a bad one, you want to be able to make up for it, right? You want to be able to make up for it, show them that you're there, show them that you care, and that will rectify it. But to me, especially growing up in the brands that I worked for, they were very big on making sure that they don't want to mess up at all. And if they do mess up, they need to rectify it immediately. I worked for a lot of 5-star restaurants, 5-star hotels, and that was the ethos. Like, especially being 5-star, like you just can't risk any type of bad experiences. Food, something's in the food doesn't taste right. They just immediately take action and warp it. It's just all types of stuff happening. So that's something I want you to think about when it comes to your personal brand is how are you showing up in that space? How are you showing up for experience? How are you curating experience? Are you doing an experience audit as in like, yes, the fonts, all the colors, yes, all of these things psychologically add on, right? Some I'm gonna edit this out too. Some some fonts and colors and logos and all that, it psychologically does make them feel some type of way. They make some colors make people feel anxious. Like my personal brand colors are like orange because I feel like I'm always coming with that type of mindset, like that orange, like knowledgeable type of mindset. I feel like I'm always coming with that. So that's something that I feel like it's important, to just have for you. The colors does work, the logos, the psychology, yes, that works. But the overall personal brand experience is something that needs to be dialed in and thought about. So just take some moments right now, start thinking about how you make people feel, and then say, okay, this is how I make people feel like naturally when you're being yourself, not in a sense of this how you make people feel. Like just how you make people feel, how you want people to feel. Like when they interact with you, when they interact with your content. Think about that. Do you want people to feel inspired? Do you want them to feel happy? Do you want them to feel motivated? Do you want them to feel uh, thoughtful? Do you want them to feel sad? Like there's different strokes for different folks. And just know whatever you start curating, that's what people will come to you for. They know pound for pound, they're going to get this experience from you. And I remember talking about this in episode 1 with Dave Chappelle and how he gives off this feeling, right? And feeling and experience, they go hand in hand. They're two different things, right? They're two different things, but an experience does give a feeling, right? And a feeling can open up an experience. That's a bar right there. All right. So that's just something to really check into, lock into, see what you can do with it. But yeah, I think that's enough for today. Episode 3 on the Icon Living podcast. I just wanted to talk about experience. I think experience is something that is very vital and it's key when it comes to your personal brand. And I look forward to you implementing this somehow, some way in your strategy so you can start at least knowing how you're making people feel. All right. All right. We're gonna go ahead and end this off right now. I'm gonna see y'all on the other side.